On today's show, the time has finally come! And no, I'm not talking about the singularity or a robot uprising. The time has finally come for us to get some actual rulings for the numerous pending cases against AI companies like Midjourney and Stability.ai. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to AI Roundup. I'm your host, Phil Buck, and for today's episode, I'm excited to discuss some reporting I saw last night about a case in California courts that was brought against Midjourney, Stability.ai, and DeviantArt by artists who claimed their works were used to train models in violation of copyright law. Now, this is a big deal because we've been waiting for months to see some fallout from these pending cases that will inevitably change the landscape of how AI image generation tools are allowed to be trained. For reference, this case was filed in January. Today, though, we've actually got some real news, and it's not looking great for artists. I don't think this particular case is going to be a major trendsetter for what's to come with future litigation. The case, Sarah Anderson et al. Plaintiffs v. Stability.ai Limited et al. Is a real can of worms. It's involving three different plaintiffs, Sarah Anderson, Kelly McKernan, and Carla Ortiz, artists who claim three different companies, Stability.ai, DeviantArt, and Midjourney, have infringed on their copyrights, violated their artistic identities, and engaged in unfair competition and more. There's like 6 different complaints in this lawsuit. So for the most part, everything in this case, it ties back to Stable Diffusion and the Lion dataset, which is why the cases have been dismissed against DeviantArt and Midjourney. The plaintiffs do have the opportunity to amend their case against Stable Diffusion. Basically, DeviantArt only offers a version of Stability's products, so DeviantArt isn't liable for any perceived copyright infringement here. Also, one of the most interesting things about the Midjourney claim here is that, as we've seen in previous discussions here on the show, it's really unclear how or what the Midjourney models were trained on. The claim against Midjourney is dismissed here because the plaintiffs claim it was trained using Stable Diffusion, but there are no facts to back this up. I think for a while now we've been stating that Midjourney is something of its own beast, which you can see in the quality of the images comparing it to Stable Diffusion. There's really not a ton of public information about the creation of MJ's models, but this case does shed a little light on the idea of our suspicions that it's simply not a Stable Diffusion clone. Where things get a little bit messy is the claim against Stability. The case does leave the opportunity for the plaintiffs to lay a copyright claim against Stability, but the plaintiffs haven't been able to prove they actually have registered copyrights of the works they allege have been scraped and trained by Stable Diffusion models. It appears that the court dismissed claims from 2 of the 3 artists, Kelly McKernan and Carla Ortiz, because they had not registered their works with the Copyright Office, which is a prerequisite for launching a copyright infringement action. The only claim that remains in play is from Sarah Anderson, who does have registered copyrights. According to the court, Anderson has adequately alleged direct infringement based on the allegations that Stability downloaded or otherwise acquired copies of billions of copyrighted images without permission to create Stable Diffusion. Okay, so that's the thing. Much of what these plaintiffs are asserting is not fully accurate about how AI models work. The assertion that the images are downloaded, stored, or compressed is simply, that's just not how LLMs work for generating new imagery. I mean, just think about how large 5 billion images would be. I don't have a model on my hard drive for Stable Diffusion that is larger than 6 gigabytes, and that's a big one. The Lion datasets range from 2 to 10 terabytes. So I'll leave it to you to do the math on this compression. In terms of legal repercussions for AI, this case might set a precedent for how AI companies can or cannot use publicly available images to train their models, but so far it seems like these plaintiffs have mostly just thrown anything they think would stick at the wall to see what comes out in the wash, and that's mostly where we're at with this one. Many, if not most, aspects of the case have been thrown out, leaving the one remaining plaintiff to amend her case against Stability. I mean, in conclusion, unfortunately, it simply seems like these plaintiffs didn't do a good job forming their case. There's a lot of initial assertions in the complaint that weren't founded, and they changed their stories on several aspects during the first hearing. So they kind of they kind of biffed it. But I think it's good that the door is still open for artists to hold Stability accountable for copyright claims if they can clarify them. I'm not sure if they can do that. I'm still really looking forward to several of these cases, like with Getty Images and Sarah Silverman. I want to see how the judges will rule on the fair use clause and more about how derivative works will be interpreted for the use of training AI. So I think once we get some rulings on those particular aspects of the law when applied to AI, we're really going to see the major fallout. Whew, okay, wow. Wading through a 28-page legal document was not how I had envisioned this episode, but I gotta say, it's pretty exciting stuff, and I'm looking forward to more of these cases getting settled soon. And so that's our AI Roundup for today. If you enjoy what we're doing here on the show, please help me out by liking this video, drop me a comment, and sub to the channel. Also, be sure to follow us on social media at MSP Media TV. You can email us at news@mspmedia.tv or call 833-MSP Network to leave me a voicemail. All right, everybody, I'm Phil Buck, and this has been your November 1st episode of AI Roundup, and I'll see you next time.
This has been a broadcast of the MSP Media Network.